Hey guys, Josh at Bane Tech, and it's time for Ask Bane, the video series that you get to ask the questions and I'll answer those questions on video. And for today's question, I'm going to be answering Sam's question that he asked on Google+. So the question is, now that more people have their hands on the OnePlus One, we are seeing some imperfections, which is why I believe they made it so affordable. Is there anything that you've seen since using the device that you would dub the device almost a flagship killer? Or is it, in your mind, everything that it was hyped up to be? Now, that's actually a really awesome question, and I appreciate you submitting that question, Sam. And the way I'm going to say it, I'm actually using it right now. It's been my daily driver for a few days now, is that I don't think it's a flagship killer. I think, if anything, it's a Nexus kind of killer. My reasoning is, and I'll use myself as an example, is because I've been considering on ditching Verizon and going with a GSM style setup like T-Mobile or AT&T Cricket Wireless, just so I can get those kind of phones that I want to get, like a Nexus phone, an unlocked phone, OnePlus One. When these kind of phones that come along, I was patient and I was like, I'm just gonna wait it out and see if I get an invite to get this phone, because for $350 I get a 64 gig phone that has a lot of specs that really trump the Nexus 5, because that would actually be my next choice for a phone. But I was like, I don't want to get a 16 gig with it not having expandable memory or storage, stuff like that. It's not that huge of a deal, but like when you see that you get a 64 gig with top of the line specs, it's like almost a no-brainer. If you're able to get this phone over the Nexus 5, it's like there's just no question about it. So I would say for phones like the Nexus, it's definitely that kind of killer. There's no way that it can be a flagship killer without having mass production. In order to even put a dent in this whole smartphone world is to have mass production. For example, Samsung, their life goal is to knock out Apple. And you see how long it's taken to even just get to the same playing field as far as stocks, availability, the style of phone or whatever. So I don't think that this phone is a flagship killer. Of course, it depends on what the flagship is. In my opinion, this phone trumps only a certain amount of flagships. It doesn't trump the S5, it doesn't trump the Note 3. I think it's a close call with the HTC One M8. I like this phone better than the M8. It by far is better than the Moto X. That's just not even a no-brainer to me. I'd say it's rather even with the Nexus 5, but it's because I guess stock Android with CyanogenMod already loaded up on this. I don't think it trumps the LG G3 that's out, the G2 probably. And those are just some examples of what I think this phone does trump and what it doesn't trump. So I don't think it's a full flagship killer. It really depends on the flagship that you're talking about. Now, does it live up to all the hype? That's another good question, because I think it relatively does, because it still has all those specs. It's got good battery life, it's got a good screen. I know there's the yellow tint issue, but it's still a good screen. I think the camera's good, the performance has been well, so I do think that it's lived up to most of the hype. The bad part is the whole invite system, and that's just the mass production aspect of it. It just doesn't make it the flagship killer, and it's hard to live up to the hype when it's that much harder to get the word out about it. I was at church the other day, and they're like, what phone is that? And it's almost really hard to explain it to somebody that doesn't understand this level of knowledge of Android. So speaking of invites, I have a 24-hour giveaway going on right now. I'll leave a link in the description of how you can enter that contest to win an invitation to get a phone just like this, the 64 gig Sandstone Black. Thanks guys for watching, I appreciate it. If you have a question that you would like answered on video, please submit that in the comments below or any of the social media networks that I have listed in the description. Thanks again for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Yeah.